Brits, cover your ears. Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things you'll never hear in Britain. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at the phrases you'll never hear uttered from a Brit in the UK. Whether it's Nando's is overrated or I'm totally happy with the price of a Freddo, some things just aren't plausible. Number 10, you're wrong, and here's why. There's a British tendency to beat around the bush, replacing actual words and criticisms with euphemisms to soften the blow. Instead of plainly stating you're wrong and here's why, you're more likely to hear phrases such as we could do it that way, or perhaps, or well, if that's how you remember it. Sometimes we're just too polite for our own good, and take far longer than necessary to make a point. If you want to know how a Brit really feels about something, your best bet is to get them down the pub and let the alcohol do the talking.
What? I'm not going to beat around the bush, Jeremy.
Number 9, I hate the haircut you've just given me. So you asked for a light trim, but you've actually been left, well, somewhat shorn. Do you voice your anger and assert your honest opinion, demanding a refund in the process? No, this is Britain, silly. You smile, say it looks great, and even tip the barber so no one suspects your age. Brits would rather walk home with their hood up than ask for any tinkering to be done to the service they've just paid for. Such is British custom. There's always another barber out there, and you can simply cut that old one out your life.
Hiya. Haircut. What you meals for?
Number 8, you can always rely on public transport. Some things just aren't reliable in the UK. The weather, England in the World Cup, and most notoriously of all, public transport. Anyone who's ever had to catch a train anywhere in Britain knows all too well that they run about as smoothly as a back rub from Freddy Krueger. The more urgently you need to be somewhere, the more likely your train is to be delayed. And while the tubes may run more regularly, if you're travelling during rush hour, you'll probably find yourself waiting for 3 to pass before there's actually enough space for you to fit on.
Open the door, please. Open the door.
Number 7, I could care less. No, it's I couldn't care less. And in at number 6,
I really couldn't care less.
Okay, some more context, as if any was needed. I could care less appears to be the American version of I couldn't care less. Clearly, something has been lost in translation here. While I could care less seemingly has the same meaning, it's been worded to express the exact opposite of what's intended.
Because that, as an expression for not or hardly caring, just makes no sense.
If you could care less, that means you do care at least a bit about the exact thing you're trying to explain that you couldn't care less about. It makes no sense. Rant over. Number 6, I wish I lived in MidSummer. Claiming I wish I lived in MidSummer would be the equivalent of suggesting I wish I lived in Raccoon City. You'd have to have a death wish. Hell, even Charles Bronson wouldn't have wanted to live there after a binge watch of MidSummer Murders. After 20 series and counting, the remote country town setting has seen an abnormally high homicide rate.
It doesn't look as if he put up much of a struggle.
No. And then there's the question of clothes.
Despite being an affluent area, with such egregious crime statistics, you'd think property there would come at a reduced rate, mind you, for every cloud. But for those who value their lives, you can probably find a better offer in Croydon.
What would you do?
I'd kill him.
Exactly.
Number 5, I understand the QI point system. Turns out to understand the QI point system, you need quite the IQ.
There's a lot more to them than that. A lot more.
The once Stephen Fry hosted panel show sees Alan Davies and 3 guests attempting to answer a series of abstruse questions, and yet the questions aren't even the most confusing part of the show. It's the undefined manner in which the answers to the questions are rewarded. For instance, not only are points dished out for getting the answers correct, but for getting them incorrect too. As long as they're interesting or something.
Fight! Bloody hell, Stephen. This better be good.
and you can see a points deduction for a response that is too obvious. Wait, what?
Yes.
Caesarean section.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, I'm afraid that's another cunningly laid trap you've fallen into, Mr. Bond.
Number 4, Top Gear's really good nowadays.
Welcome to Top Gear with our all-new, improved audience.
Say what you want about Jeremy Clarkson, but the man knew how to host a television show about automobiles. And it's been a struggle for the BBC to fill his boots, along with those co-hosts Richard Hammond and James May, as evidenced by the declining ratings and universal consensus that the series has dropped in quality.
I can't believe you need a license to buy a gun, but you can just walk in and buy one of these.
Chris Evans was the initial replacement, but it wasn't long until he was resigning over public backlash. The next obvious choice? Joey from Friends, of course.
You do. You need to drive it, man. It's incredible. You loved it. Yeah. Loved it. Loved it.
But as noble as Matt LeBlanc's efforts have been, the show has unfortunately still struggled to recapture its old magic. Number 3, America does it better. The US may have bigger buildings, waistlines, roller coasters, movie budgets, military, and so on, but bigger doesn't always mean better. Regardless of the subject matter, a Brit will never concede that America, or France for that matter, can do a thing better than the UK. Just wait until we're in a post-Brexit landscape, and Brits will be exclaiming that we do Independence Day better too.
Happy 4th of July, Daddy.
Same to you, Munchkin.
What each nation does better is, of course, subjective, until the US try to remake a British sitcom, which, quite blatantly, we're factually better at.
That's okay. This is nice, right?
Oh, and healthcare, and dieting, and, well, you know.
Stop talking about American things and let's watch the best film ever made.
Number 2, I haven't got any tea bags in. Tea drinking is, of course, a British institution. Even ultra-trendy latte drinkers have an emergency stash of PG tips at the back of their shelf. In fact, so do those who don't even like tea at all.
Put the kettle on and I'll deal with Philip. Okay. Okay.
But what if one is allergic to tea, you ask? There's simply no place for them in the UK. It's the fuel Brits are run on. Have a builder's round but don't have any tea bags? Straight into shutdown mode they go. You can always rely on emergency reserves of tea bags in any British household. Fresh milk, on the other hand. Number 1, I'm totally happy with the state of our government.
But with enormous and enduring gratitude to have had the opportunity to serve the country I love.
No matter who's in office, this is a statement you'll never hear from a Brit. Even if your choice wins at the election, chances are they lied to you. Or at least you think they did. Even if the Green Party got in, something or another would leave their supporters feeling blue. No need to ever regret your vote too much though, as the head of state was actually never voted in at all, right? But it's not all doom and gloom. One day we'll be saved from the bickering of selfish, profit-driven, suit-and-tie politicians by our future benevolent AI overlords. Praise thee, O Alexa. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.